The Kolkata Knight Riders lifted their third ever IPL title in 2024, and many would argue that it has been the most dominant title that they have won. In 2012 and 2014, they did approach it with an underdog mentality of sorts, but the signs were there early on from 2024. Not only did they top the group stages, but they did so with a net run rate that had never been matched before in the history of the IPL at plus 1.428. It took many big wins to get there, and then they backed that up with two back-to-back convincing performances in the playoffs against the Sunrisers Hyderabad to lift their title. But what exactly were the main reasons behind the kind of dominance that they displayed this year? That's what we're going to be discussing in this particular video. And the first thing that has to be spoken about is the opening combination that the KKR had. The Salt Narayan combo early on in the season really helped set the tone, and I would argue was probably one of the better opening pairs, matched or perhaps outdone only by Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma at SRH. With Salt and Narayan, you got over 500 runs combined at a strike rate of over 200. So when they got going, you knew that more often than not, a victory was all but assured. But it wasn't just down to the opening pair, because again, Phil Salt departed just before the playoffs for an international duty, and Raimunullah Gurbaz stepped in just fine and was able to get the job done for KKR both in the playoff and in the final. So what other factors were there? Factor number two, of course, it's an extension of number one, and we're talking about Sunil Narayan, the all-rounder. Now, for years, Narayan has been an all-rounder because, again, he started opening in the mid-2010s, whether it be in the BBL or the BPL, he would always be opening the batting. But his batting stocks in the IPL had plummeted a lot since about 2016, where more often than not, he was a walking bunny against a short ball. So that led to KKR adopting him to use him as more of a floater to take on the spinners. But come 2024, well, Gautam Gambhir said, you go up there, you bat at the top of the order with no inhibitions and win us a few games. That is what Narayan said. Gambhir told us, or told him, before the season, said, I don't expect you to win us all 14 games, but win us a few games from the top of the order. Batting with that clarity ensured that he could get the job done. And then there was also his bowling. I mean, if you look at his overall numbers, there's no surprise that he was named as the player of the tournament, because he had about more than 17 wickets, nearly 500 runs. Those are great stats, and it carries on the, let's say, stat that has been taking place in the IPL for years, is that if you have an all-rounder who gets at least 15 wickets and scores at least 400 runs, chances are you're going to be lifting the IPL title. But point number three, and speaking of Narayan and the wickets, is the fact that KKR had multiple bowlers who could get wickets. In fact, 5 of their 6 bowlers who played in the IPL final all ended up with at least 17 wickets or more in a format that is so dominated by batters, and that was in fact one of the key reasons why SRH even made it to the final. Having bowlers who could get wickets on a consistent basis really helped KKR stand out, and also complemented a batting lineup that, truth be told, wasn't as opener reliant as SRH's was. With SRH, their problem was that if the openers didn't fire, there was too much pressure on the middle order, and then it became a hit or miss situation, compounded by the fact that their bowling wasn't anywhere as effective as the numbers that Varun Chakravarti, Harshit Rana, Sunil Narayan, Mitch Stark and Andre Russell were able to put up. Really, the only bowler who stood out for SRH was Natarajan. Having 5 bowlers who took over 17 wickets definitely helped a lot, but also worth noting, as I said, they weren't one note when it came to the batting, because with KKR, you also got to see a consistent middle order. Now, granted, they weren't called into action as many times, because more often than not, it was the openers who got the job done. But with SRH, it was get the openers and the game was as good as done. With KKR, you knew you had to contend with a Venkatesh Iyer, Shreyas Iyer, and Ankush Raghuvanshi, who's arguably the breakout star for KKR. Lower down the order, you had a Rinku Singh, you had an Andre Russell, you had a Ramandeep Singh. So there was plenty of batting, all of whom could accelerate in a moment's notice. So if the openers didn't get you, the middle order did. If the middle order didn't get you, the lower order definitely would. And that was why KKR became such a hard team to beat, because even if you got wickets against them, they would pack their batting so deep, aided of course by the impact player rule, that they could bat themselves out of any tricky situation. So you go through some of the matches that KKR had, even when both their openers failed, their middle and lower order bailed them out just fine. And factor number 5, and something that, truth be told, I don't think is being talked about enough, the captaincy of Shreyas Iyer. Why I say it's not being talked about enough? Because a lot of the credit for this title win has gone to Gautam Gambhir, and it's easy to understand why. He returned as mentor, he ended up winning the trophy on his first try as mentor, and what's more, he was also the captain when KKR won the title in 2012 and 2014. Obviously, that gives him some sort of a mythical standing with the KKR fan base, but it is worth noting that Shreyas Iyer himself, before this, has been a captain of a side that made it to the IPL final. I'm talking, of course, about the Delhi Capitals in 2020. That was a side that, truth be told, looked lost on the big stage. But the fact that they even got there is some sort of credit to Shreyas Iyer, who, by the way, in 2024 became the first ever captain to lead out not one, but 2 teams into an IPL final. The good thing is that in 2020, Shreyas was on the losing end of a rather one-sided final, but life has a funny way of coming full circle, because this time around Shreyas was part of a one-sided final, but this time on the winning side. And truth be told, his captaincy perhaps doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Consistently good bowling changes, good field settings, and of course taking on responsibility and doing the hard jobs at times, looking to play with aggressive intent and foregoing your own runs. All very, very commendable, and that's why salute to the skipper Shreyas Iyer. Again, he's not probably getting as much credit as he deserves, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't give him his flowers. And that's it. These are the 5 reasons I think KKR won the title in 2024 and was the reasons behind their dominance. Do you think I missed anything out? Or were there any other factors you'd like to put in? You guys can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. Now from my side though, it is goodbye.